Hello, friends. Welcome back. If you are tuning into this, then you have heard my voice before and you've probably seen their faces before. I'm joined again with some friends from Chalmers Camp Insurance for another partner check-in. As a matter of fact, we're going to do two. We're going to do kind of a two-parter because what we're going to be talking about today and the next time you listen is something that is overwhelmingly important. And I'm not saying this just because I'm talking to people who are in the insurance industry and I don't want to seem like a degenerate. But when they brought it up, I thought to myself, yeah, that's not something that's ever really on the front of my radar because it's things that you hope kind of never happen, such as having to file an insurance claim. So Ethan Johnson and Carissa from Chalmers Camp Insurance, thank you so much for joining us again today. We're going to start with part one. And part one is going to be either one you want. I don't know which one you have teed up mentally. So in part one of our two-part series on claims, where would you like to begin? And I'm going to pass the talking stick now.
Auto claims. Let's jump into auto claims, bud. Thanks for having us on today. We thought it would be a good opportunity to share with the camp community some best practices when it comes to auto claims. Why is driver safety such a focus point with insurance companies? Because you're potentially transporting a parent's most precious, most important item, their children, right? The other part that is important to point out as well is that campers are young. If they are severely injured in an accident, it could impact them for the rest of their life, and an insurance claim settlement will be significant because of that. If there's more than one person that's in an accident that's significantly hurt or worse, yes, the claim can quickly go north of $1 million. Certainly, no one wants a child to get injured or a large lawsuit. This is why preventing claims and a focus on safety is so important. So with that said, we're going to share some best practices when it comes to auto claims. One is driver selection, right? Carefully selecting drivers based on their driver's age, driving experience, and history with traffic laws and accidents is very important. Can you imagine how bad it would look in a courtroom if a driver with a past OUI got into an accident and was transporting kids? Not good in a courtroom. We get destroyed. In addition to that, once the driver has been selected, we also recommend having perform a skill verification test at camp so that you can kind of see with your own eyes, okay, they're safe to drive.
Creating a culture around safety that includes behind the wheel. Just like we do with our lifeguards, our camp drivers need ongoing training and skill development opportunities. This allows them to apply their knowledge to situations they may face while driving at work and practice their skills in real-life scenarios.
Scenario-based training is essential for preparing drivers to handle various situations that they may encounter during the camp season. By simulating like real-world situations beforehand, drivers can practice without feeling overwhelmed by the responsibility. Similar to like batting practice in baseball, right? Like you want to get some reps in before you just go in and you hit 100-mile-an-hour pitching, right? You want some practice reps first so that you're comfortable with things, right? Some examples of scenarios to include in a training session would be drive around camp and just make sure drivers are familiar with camp routes, right? And conditions. Maybe have them practice in different weather environments. If it's strong winds or rain, have them do a practice run with that. Or navigating the highway and traffic safely. Maybe a practice run to an airport to pick up a camper as well. I mean, that is an important period right there as well. We want to make sure that they are safe. Driving to and parking at all field trip location spots. Sometimes those can get a little squirrely pulling into them. Making sure that your drivers are comfortable with that. And lastly, identify and plan for all scenarios drivers may encounter at camp, and develop a plan accordingly. Making sure that they feel like they are prepared goes a long way in a claim situation.
And make sure they practice backing up. We've been saying a lot recently, if we could just avoid backing up, we would have a lot less claims. I think one camp actually had a vehicle that they were considering like selling or getting rid of. And I want to say the vehicle wouldn't back up. And I'm like, if only we could take that vehicle to every camp, we would eliminate so many claims. But backing up has been the leading cause of our auto claims recently. So you can consider the following kind of like games, scenarios, skills to work with your drivers. Transportation rodeo. Then when they get in their vehicle, they can say, this isn't my first rodeo. Host a transportation rodeo featuring different skill sets, such as backing up without hitting obstacles like cones. This engaging activity allows drivers to test their skills while having fun. Orange cones. You can implement an orange cone policy where drivers must place the cones at the front and rear of the vehicles after parking. This encourages drivers, while leaving and removing the cones, to intentionally check their surroundings before backing up and not relying on that camera. We hear also so many times, the camera didn't beep. You shouldn't be listening just for a beep. You need to check your surroundings. And utilizing other staff. You can utilize other staff members to assist during backup practice sessions, either from inside the vehicle or by providing guidance outside. You can do it safely, and having an extra set of eyes can enhance safety and reinforce proper backing up techniques.
Thanks, Carissa. The other one, too, I'll add is drive-alongs with leadership. Drive-alongs, right? Implementing drive-alongs with camp leadership is an effective way to develop driver skills. We're not talking about with a friend or like a friendly situation with a leadership, somebody that's in a leadership position. Do a tag-along essentially with the driver. Not only does this provide drivers with valuable behind-the-wheel experience, but it also provides leadership with the opportunity to provide some guidance and reinforcement of safe driving behaviors. Like if they're not doing something right, it's a great opportunity in a soft way to try to correct those things. These ride-alongs should come throughout the summer, allowing leadership to monitor drivers' performance and ensure that they are consistently adhering to their safety protocols, especially when campers are present in the vehicle.
Awesome. Thanks, Ethan. And lastly, rental vehicles. This is an important one. They're all important, but I think this is probably one of the easiest ones, and it's come up a lot in the last few years and is an easy tip to help avoid unwanted claims. Document when you're picking up your rental vehicle or it's being delivered. It's important to take date-stamped photos and videos of the vehicle and any scratches, dings, anything that's wrong with the vehicle, and be sure the representative from the rental company notes any findings. Even if they insist that they're too small, you want to make sure that these are documented. And timely reporting of incidences. You don't have to wait until the end of camp season to report that you backed up into a tree or backed up into another vehicle or sideswiped something. You can report it in a timely manner after it happens. And this will help ease the claim situation and get your claim processed and closed in a timely manner. And just remember, photographing and videoing all leased vehicles at the time of pickup and delivery and making sure that they are date stamped. That way you can prove the date and time that they were taken. And I think, Ethan, do you have any other notes to add on auto?
No additional notes. I mean, I will tell you that last one about photographing and video recording rental vehicles. I do that even on personal trips and stuff like that.
100%.
I mean, these are getting more and more. The last trip I had, I mean, stickers and everything were all over the vehicle that they tried to give me. And I was like, wait a minute. I just want to make sure that this is all documented here. But we hope these tips help everyone have a safe and awesome camp season.
The things y'all are pointing out here too, I want to reiterate. The photo thing on the rental vehicle, I was just regaling you all with my tales of travel recently, and I just got back from a golf tournament. Same thing. Photograph everything all the way around, just so there's no questions. But really what stuck out to me there is you all kept on circling back to essentially practice and creating case scenarios. If you want them to be able to do the right thing under pressure, then you almost have to simulate that. And what really jumped out at me on all the things you said, do everything they said, by the way. Do it twice, SOP it, write it down, make it part of your onboarding, be intentional about who you let behind the wheel. But the thing that I said is those ride-alongs, because in my brain, all I thought was, what happens when your boss gets in the front seat? You get a little nervous. That's okay. You should be. That's that simulation of kind of pressure and anxiety. And if you're not comfortable with the boss sitting next to you, or even just, your supervisor, I mean, you're probably not going to be comfortable with 12, little ones back there. And so this is important stuff. It's one of the most important things that we do, logistics, getting people and the most precious cargo from A to B. So having friends like Ethan and Carissa and everybody over at Chalmers help us through this, I do appreciate it. As always, if you have questions around this, please feel free to reach out to them, reach out to me one way or another. We'll get you connected. And stick around for part 2. If you listen to this, come back in a couple of days, or if it's a couple of days later, go back and whatever the case. This is part one. We'll see you again at part two, where we talk more about workers' comp. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.